Just the stats, Reggie Johnson, Eugene Morgan coming to you from the lovely city of Atlanta. And Eugene, somebody is getting paid today, Mr. Tyreek Hill. Not just today. Tyreek really got paid when he first went over there to Miami. But Miami's, it looks like they've agreed with not more years, just more guaranteed cash is what it looks like. So let's see. Miami and Tyreek Hill agreed to a restructured contract worth $90 million over the next 3 seasons with $65 million guaranteed. The agreement gives Hill $106.5 million over 4 years, the most guaranteed money for a wide receiver in NFL history. According to Ian Rappaport, Tyreek Hill's contract does not add new years. This is just adding guaranteed money, the most guaranteed money added to a contract without adding new years. Interesting, right?
Nice.
So what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, he's been the best receiver? I mean, we can't deny that. I mean,
you're talking about something that really worked out for both parties, right? You leave Kansas City. We'll keep these Super Bowls here, brother. Don't worry about it. We'll take these Super Bowls. But he's like, hey, I'm going to take my 30 mil. You know what I mean? Over here a year as a wide receiver and be killing it and then get more money. You know, because when he first got the deal, people were like, oh, that's a lot for a wide receiver. He just got a better one.
He did. He did. Right?
Deal. That tells you how much he's lived up to this bill, like to the billing as far as being that number one wide receiver and being that number one paid wide receiver. You know, and that's kind of reset. I think JJ Justin Jefferson has that now.
Yes.
But what are your is this something that Miami had to do? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know maybe why you had to do this. I mean, he was already there. You had him under contract. I mean, maybe just to show him you're committed. I don't know. I'm interested in your take. I don't get why you're. I mean, again, he's been top receiver. Granted, I had him on 2 of my fantasy teams last year. And by the way, they both win. We both won our championship. So
yes, our league winner had Tyreek Hill as well.
Put that out there. Hill, I mean, he's the best, but again, he's only won the championship when he's with Kansas City. So you gotta give that part, but
getting his money, you know, so after you get that one championship, so
right.
If you get one, does it really matter? Right? Are you now more concerned with money or championships? And me personally, I'd be more concerned with multiple championships because I think that if you win a lot of them, then the possibilities are endless for you on into retirement. You can comment, people want you you around because you've won so many championships. I feel like the possibilities are endless. But I get both sides of this coin. If you've already won a championship and you decide that you want to move on, try to chase the paper a little bit and go pick some up, which he did. from Miami, I get where you're coming from, but I do think that this is the best case scenario for a team like Kansas City that didn't have to spend that kind of money and still bring home multiple Super Bowl championships. You know,
right? Because what Kansas City did was like, okay, we're gonna not spend the money on you. We're gonna build our offensive line because we have our quarterback. So again, you and I, we are SEC fans. Like our heart bleeds that. We don't care. It's like, okay, good. I know you're an Alabama fan. I'm a Georgia fan. But once you get into the National Football League, we are SEC diehard fans. So
right. Any of them, no matter where team you find yourself on.
Exactly. So maybe they're looking at it as like, okay, look, we don't have the infrastructure to build maybe the line around Tua, but let's get him all the weapons. So we're giving Tyreek and we're gonna give him all these other weapons around him. So maybe that's their thinking. Let's make sure we have this infrastructure around Tua because I love Tua. I do. And again, I'm a left-handed person. So
I think Tua just got re-upped himself.
He did. So, but again,
maybe they're trying to keep the band together is what it looks like to me.
Right. So maybe we're like, okay, look, we're gonna throw all our eggs in this basket. And it's not here's the thing, not a bad basket throwing, but that's my thought is maybe we're just going to do it in this process and let's build around that because let's just face it, their division they're in this year, it's a very winnable division, right? For them to Let's
They
do
have
this
what? New
now.
England,
Right. New
Buffalo,
Buffalo, right?
and the Jets. The Jets, I think,
Right.
are in that division.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
not
have this
really much
opportunity,
things.
like,
That could either be a super great division or be a horrible division. So if everything pans out, it'll be a great division. If the division
right.
doesn't pan out, it'll be a horrible division. And Miami will just sleepwalk through that thing, right?
Right. Again, so I mean, every odds, favor has Miami being at the top. But again, you can't forget about Buffalo. You can't forget about New England because let's just face it, they've always been there. Maybe New England not this year, but Buffalo definitely would be there. Could be in there. The Jets. I mean, I don't know. I mean, with
I mean, it's a
I,
possibility. You
it
look at what
is right.
happened last year. This is a team that can have a complete different division reality just one calendar year later. Just because Aaron Rodgers would be back. Let's just assume Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. If Aaron Rodgers
Okay.
is healthy, then the Jets aren't going to be as bad as they were last year.
No.
If New England gets competent quarterback play, and I love my guy Mac, man, he's from Alabama, and I love it, but it just wasn't working out. I'm not sure if it and listen, Mac Jones got them to a playoff game. I want to say his first year or second year.
He did.
It's been when Belichick was there, but it hasn't worked out the past year or so. And I can understand moving off of him, especially with drafted this early in the draft. You kind of have to make that move because it's not like Mac Jones was picked in the top 2 or 3 there. So if that pans out, let's say Drake May or the quarterback situation. I don't even know if they want to start Drake May, but let's just say that
no.
the
Let's
quarterback
say
situation pans
they're
out.
starting Brissett, right? They're
Brissett?
starting.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just say
let's say they just get a little bit better. If New England gets a little bit better, if Buffalo's still Buffalo, so that's your biggest competitor, it is. And I really can't even tell you now that I feel like Miami's a better team than Buffalo, and that's what Diggs missing. I wouldn't necessarily just say that it's a shoe-in for Miami. But I would still, because I don't know what they look like without Diggs, it's hard for me to just put Buffalo over Miami, but a competitive team within the division nonetheless. And then you have a competitive division. It goes from a non-competitive division just 12 months ago to a competitive division now. If a couple things change, so it's not like you can rest on your laurels. Maybe this is one of the situations where they felt they had to pay everybody, keep the thing together, and compete, because that side of the ball, if you look at any side of the ball for Miami that was elite, that side was elite. I thought Vic Fangio did a better job than what's been given credit for. I didn't think their defense was a dumpster fire, but it's just that they were their offense just is so much better. It's just a dynamic offense,
right?
Dynamic offense to watch. So they were probably like, man, we got to at least keep this thing together. So I understand the money being spent. We'll talk a little bit more further in the show about wide receiver money in general and kind of how that's breaking down, because it's getting more and more and more. But the cap's getting more. There is one more game than what we used to compare numbers to. So if you're looking at numbers comparatively speaking, then one thing you got to remember is that what we've been playing this extra game for a couple years, maybe now. Has it been 2 years, 2 to 3 years, somewhere around there?
Yep.
So these new cap numbers are going to come out with that extra game in there. And I feel the same way about if that 18th game comes, right? If that 18th game comes, say hello to those $60 million quarterbacks. $60 million quarterbacks are probably coming anyway, but say hello to those $60 million quarterbacks for sure with that 18th game. And I think the same here with these wide receivers. 30, I mean, 30 seems a bit rich. But Tua doesn't suck. I mean, the situation in Minnesota is more questionable to me, because you have a question mark at quarterback. So if I'm Minnesota and I'm paying a player like Justin Jefferson, and let's go over here to see what Justin Jefferson's making. Let's go and share this tab quick. Boom. If I'm paying a player like Justin Jefferson and he's making what, 35? He's up here. He's up top here for people I can see on the screen. 35 average a year, 110 on the guarantee. So that means it's roughly 3-ish years contract, right? Because it's like 110 guaranteed of the 140. Fully guaranteed 88.7. I'm not really sure what I'm missing here. With the 88.7 versus the 110. But either way, 35 per year, we'll go per annum just to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
If I'm going to pay a quarterback 35 years, let's get other quarterbacks are making in that 30 range. Then you're going to have Justin Jefferson making 35, AJ Brown 32, Amon-Ra St. Brown 30, Tyreek Hill now 30, Jalen Waddle right below him at 28. So let's just stop there, right? Let's go to those top 5. Is that the top 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the top 5 quarterbacks or the top 5 teams paying that money, 4 of the teams have quarterbacks. One has a question mark, and the one that has a question mark happens to be the team paying the most for its wide receiver.
Yeah.
Now you had to do it. I'm on Ross A. Brown's only 25. It's like he's been in the league a million years. It's crazy. I'm not saying that, I wouldn't have done it if I'm Minnesota, but I get where you kind of had to. Like, you can't can you really let Justin Jefferson walk?
No, you could not let him go.
Remember when I was telling you about the Lamar Jackson situation, and I was telling you he was not walking. I was like, Eugene, people are like, oh, the Falcons can get him. And I'm like, until I see this human being leave, I hear all the talk and I hear it. Believe me, I hear say, yo, if they had just given up this, if they had just given up that. And I understand that. But until you watch that human being actually leave, you don't know they're leaving. Like Kobe Bryant back in the day, right? You said he was out of there. Like you see guys say it, but teams just cannot let certain guys go. So I knew that Lamar was never leaving, at least not on Baltimore's terms. He wasn't leaving. And I feel the same way about Justin Jefferson, right? Especially, we know how these teams feel about guys they draft, Eugene. They get attached. It's when they draft a good one, they get attached to the guy. And
especially in the
you're
NFL.
going to pay him and you just hope. Yes, absolutely. And then you're just hoping. Now you're just hoping him now. You're just hoping JJ McCarthy does not suck or Sam Darnold doesn't suck. You're just hoping, because I think they're going to start Sam Darnold this year, right? You think JJ McCarthy can win that job?
I just don't know what difference you're getting there, right? I feel like you have the same quarterback with Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy. I'd like,
who is that worse for? Is that worse for Sam Darnold? Is that worse for JJ McCarthy?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like I like Sam Darnold, but I think here's the thing.
He has glimpses, man.
We know here's the thing. We have the playbook on Sam Darnold, right? We see it. We know what we're getting. It's not a surprise at this point. Again, if he comes out and does something different, wow, you and I are wrong. But we've seen it at this point. You and I have watched enough football. We know what's going on at this point. Now, I like JJ McCarthy, but the stats took a back seat. And you and I spoke about this. Now, again, was that because they didn't need him to do so much this year? Because defense got better. They didn't really
have to. They were running the ball,
right,
man.
They're running the ball a lot more.
That thing down you a ton. That's what Harbaugh seems to like to do.
Saw
what he just did when he got to the Chargers, got rid of all their receivers. First thing he did, get all these receivers out of here.
Right. So again, that's my thing with those two guys. Are they the same? Are we looking at the same thing? So is Darnold the future? Like that we've seen him already. McCarthy is just like this. He's Sam Darnold, just looking at the, in the future. So,
man, I thought what they're paying Sam Darnold, you at least got to start him a couple of games, man. You got to at least get him out there for first 4 weeks or so, or give the kid some time, but not unless JJ McCarthy just comes and takes it. Now we all know that's possible, and that's why I love the NFL. It's possible. It's possible a guy can go out there in training camp and really just take the job. So do I anticipate JJ McCarthy doing that? I don't think Sam Darnold is that bad, and I feel like they got enough money in him to want to see glimpses of him and be like squint and see a better player than what they see for the money they spent and put him out there anyway. But I think he's serviceable. I think we'll see him the first few weeks or so, and then we just got to see if JJ's worth the money. Let's look at Tyreek Hill here on the stats for last year. So if you look at the 4 stats here, they have listed on ESPN. Receptions 119, tied for second there. Yards 1799, first, incredible. And I saw that a lot of those yards were against me in fantasy. I played that player like 2 to 3 times. Touchdowns 13, tied for first. You want to get over that double-digit number. That's just always nice.
Yeah.
And 15 at the 15.1 average was 47th, surprisingly. Isn't that crazy, right? Like I thought that's pretty crazy. But Yeah, man. That's. I mean, I think you got to pay it, Eugene. I mean, I'm trying to look at these numbers, and I want to say that you shouldn't, but do you pay the $30 million, or
Right.
do you let the guy walk? Which one are you more comfortable with as a GM sitting in that chair? And as what for a person that's been watching Hard Knocks, I can tell you right now, it doesn't like they're ever comfortable letting them walk. Like
No,
that
I
seems
mean,
like the
no, no,
least
no, no,
comfortable.
no. You don't let the guy walk. And here's the thing: it's and we all gripe about salary caps and contracts, blah blah blah. I mean, we've seen how if teams need to make cap space, they can tighten a roster bonus or whatever. So we all look at this number and go, well, if they need to add something to this roster to be a competitive Super Bowl team, we smart teams can do it. And so again, if I'm Miami, yes, I want to keep this. I'm not gonna Tua. No, you can't throw to Tyreek anymore. Let's build you like some low end receivers to throw to. So no, I think if you're a franchise that hasn't been to the Super Bowl in God knows how long, you have to make this choice. You have to make, you know, let's keep building around the offense, because let's face it, offense is where it's going, right? You have to like keep investing money in your offense, your line, and the running backs is, let's just face it, it's almost a dinosaur at this point, right? Nobody's investing money into running backs. I mean,
Right. These
you
1 year wide receiver contracts be like 3 year running back contracts.
right. So again, you just went through your fantasy draft. How many running backs did you draft in, like, let's just say the first 6 rounds or 7 rounds, right? You did not look at a running back at that point. And so I feel like that's where, if you're a GM, it's like, I'm gonna like put this best, product on the field. At this point, it's receivers. And if I'm Miami, it's like, I have like one of the best receivers, and I have a quarterback. He's top 15, right? He's not top 10. He's in that top 15, right? I mean, you in that top
Is
15,
that where you
15
would put for Tua?
Tua. I mean, right? I mean, if I'm just,
I would say Tua. I would, you know what? I would, off the
I mean,
top
where
of
are you
my
going?
head,
Where are
I
you going
would
to it?
put
You tell
Tua.
me.
I would go to a top 10. I
Okay,
don't know if I am just got my Alabama pajamas on here. Hold on, let me
that's
look at.
fine, and
Let
that's
me let
okay.
me look it up here. Because I'm gonna really see top 10 NFL QB last year, right? Let's say 2023. All right, let's see if we got it here. All right, so like, these are high. These are graded. These are graded. I need to see like two. Even in the graded, two would have been seventh. Two is seventh here on this list. It goes Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Matt Stafford, Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, ahead of Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, and Jared Goff. I think Tua is a better quarterback than given credit for.
Yeah,
Um, I, I think that's what it is a lot for a lot of people. A lot of people, they don't really, because he doesn't have like a Josh Allen type stature or anything like that, you know. Um, let's see what he got. Let's go here. He doesn't have like a Josh Allen type stature. 6'1". It's not like he's not towering over you, not running over you. He's not short though. And he's not necessarily small. 227. He's not like a small guy. But in these yards, look at that. His regular season yards first, 4,624. Tie for fifth. Interceptions, you want to do better there, right? 14. You want to try to get that down to maybe like single
yeah,
digits,
yeah.
right?
Single digits, right?
Um,
Exactly.
60.8 on the QBR 10th. When you look at numbers like this, a guy like this typically in the NFL, a guy with numbers, because I want to look and see what Trevor Lawrence's numbers are. A guy like this in the NFL is probably going to get paid close to $50 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's just what seems to go on rate seems to be right now. And I understand why the eye test, and you go through this a lot of times. You know what? I go through this with Dak too. When I talk to people about Dak Prescott, a lot of times,
Yeah,
they really undervalue him, in my opinion. I'm like, I get that they haven't had the postseason success. I get it. And I get that you're also in the Cowboys, which puts a bigger
bigger
microscope. You know
bullseye
what I
on yourself,
mean?
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely you're under the microscope and they feel like, hey, for some reason, I don't know why you feel like you're entitled to championships. They haven't won it since the 90s. At least they have some. Don't be wrong, we haven't won it, but at least we've been there
At least you've
in
been
the
there.
last
Right.
20 to 30 years. And
again, Falcons fans will take one of those.
I would definitely, absolutely.
Right.
Let's not get crazy. I would take any of them. But why are you not entitled to winning chips, man? I mean, so a person like Dak is usually he's better than what people are going to give him credit for. Let's look up Dak Prescott stats. Because I feel like his stats and people, I'll look up Patrick Mahomes too, because we all think Patrick Mahomes, he is. There's not even thinking that he's the GOAT, right? Let's share this real quick. All right.
Well, the only issue
so
with
Dak Prescott, let's see. There we go. Right? Let's look here. So that is 30 yards at 45, 36 and 9. It's beautiful, right? 72.7 on the second on the QBR. I think, and also same height as. It's funny because he looks a little bigger than Tua, right? He's 16 pounds heavier than Tua. Or 11. I'm sorry. He's 11 pounds heavier than Tua is.
Right.
For some reason, this eyeball test, he always looks.
That neck is doing it for him.
He always looks like that, you know? But I feel like he's underappreciated. This is going to be a $50 to $60 million quarterback, guys. I mean, I hate that people think that maybe just winning championships is the only thing that can get you paid in the NFL. Is just not true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to have productivity to even have a shot at the championships. I think this because of the underwhelming performance from both these teams, whether it's the Cowboys or Miami, that make people think these quarterbacks just aren't as good. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so back with Tua, the only thing, and again, we both love him because again with Dak, Mississippi State, SEC guy, we're always gonna love this guy. But with Tua, the issue with Tua is when the plays start breaking down, like the lines start breaking down, the pass, his pass percentage goes down. With when you have Patrick Mahomes, again, it's like I feel like I'm comparing
Mahomes that clutch genes too, man.
Exactly.
Mahomes is like the GOAT, man. It's hard to even mention him with anybody else, right?
I know when Patrick Mahomes, when the line starts breaking down, maybe his numbers get a little better. So it's almost like an unfair comparison. I think Dak gets that same kind of like, and again, I feel like even with
look at that. Patrick Mahomes, Tua. Okay, so Patrick Mahomes and Dak, my bad, are 1 inch taller than Tua. But Patrick Mahomes, 2 pounds lighter than Tua. Isn't that crazy? 2 pounds. And look at this. Look at the numbers. All right, let's go here. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not, but I'm saying that this is, to me, is why the contracts for some of these players that some of these fans feel that are underwhelming this is why they exist, because the numbers, I know they may look underwhelming from a result standpoint. They're not out there competing for Super Bowls like Patrick is, or they're not out there making those plays like Patrick Mahomes does when needed the most. But $50 million ish. I mean, that's about what these numbers are going to go for when you look at numbers like these.
Yeah, right. Again, you're not. I mean, what? Here's the thing: if Dak hits a free agent, he's going to get. There's going to be top teams looking for him, right?
He's 31, so they'll give him 3 to 4. He'll get 4 a year. He'll probably get 200 on a 4-year, right? That'll take him into like 35, 36-ish. Maybe they guarantee 3.
Right, because he's not going to go any longer than that because he wants to like re-up after that. Again, he's doing the Kirk Cousins things. We all knock Kirk Cousins for doing this. Dak's doing the same thing. It's like, okay, guys, I'm going to take this money to this point, and if you don't sign me, he's almost handcuffed. Like he's handcuffed the Cowboys, and like, look,
he has, because look at the numbers. There's not this kind of productivity. 36 touchdowns just aren't laying around out there for a lot of quarterbacks.
Right? That's the thing. It's like if you look at so many teams that need a quarterback, you're not looking at this. I mean, you're not looking at, like I would not sign him. And again, there's a lot of fan bases going that are laughing at the Cowboys, but secretly going, Like, you don't think the Raiders would want to have him on their roster?
It's a few teams, man, who take him instantly, like
Right,
instantaneously. Yes.
right. Like, I mean, we love Bryce Young, but you don't think Carolina would not want this on their,
Right.
in their
4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns. Stop it. And like that's incredible. And some of the productivity you're getting, we go back to Tua on the 4,600, 29 and 14. I mean, these are pretty much elite players. Go share Patrick again. Patrick at 4,100. Patrick, this 4,100 for Patrick was a down year. This is a down year this past year.
it
Still
was, and it was
went
because
and
they
got the
didn't
chip.
have right because
Nobody to throw
they
to.
were
Man, if you had
no, he
Tyreek
had no
Hill
one.
out there, man, that'd be amazing, right?
No, and they
Well,
missed
maybe
that.
that Xavier Worthy now. Maybe he's the new Tyreek that they needed over there.
Right, and they
You
were
know?
missing that one receiver, like the before, like they had those B receivers that they signed that were once A receivers, but Patrick could elevate them to that. Hey, look, I can bring you in, and I'm gonna get you paid. That's the thing they didn't have last year, but it didn't matter because they were still able to win the Super Bowl.
Well, I was hoping beyond hope that the Steelers really had a shot at Brandon Aiyuk.
You don't think
I
they did?
hear a couple. I've heard back and forth a couple things, but I'm hearing now that maybe they don't. I'm hearing that um the Steelers. It's a situation because watching Adam Schefter and he was saying there's a situation that you have to satisfy the team that wants him and satisfy the player by re-signing him.
Mhm.
So you have to have a team that's capable of doing both when they bring him on.
Okay.
So that seems to be the sticking point from what I'm hearing with the Steelers. From what they're saying that's the sticking point is the what the team is asking for, not necessarily what Aiyuk is asked for, but what the team is asking for. Maybe they feel like it's too rich. I don't know. They're saying the Browns and Patriots need to be front runners,
I heard
but he
that.
still has to agree to want to play there for either team for that to happen. I think Amari Cooper to San Francisco would be interesting. That'd be an interesting situation. That'd be a nice get for San Francisco. If you got a distressed asset that doesn't want to be there, you can bring back Amari Cooper. That's John Lynch doing the thing if that was able to actually happen. Brandon Aiyuk underpaid for sure. For sure. Let's go ahead and pull his numbers up here. 75 yards on the receptions, or 75 receptions, I should say. 1,300 yards, 7th on the touchdowns, 17.9 on the average. Now, these numbers look okay. Like, you look at a wide receiver like this, you say, hey, man, these are okay numbers. But when you put these numbers on a team like with the target share like Christian McCaffrey, Debo, and you're still getting these kinds of numbers, that
Mhm.
says to me that you're a very good player because you're standing out. You're managing to get yours in an offense that's with George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Debo Samuel. You're still managing to kind of eke out existence for yourself there, and a pretty
Right.
good one. Who knows what would happen if you were go to a wide receiving or go to a team where like the Jets, how they give pepper Garrett Wilson with targets. You go to a team that's just going to pepper you with targets. You look at the
Mhm.
opportunities there, and you
Mhm.
think maybe I can get up into the 15 and maybe double digit touchdowns. Maybe I can touch 10 something like that, so these are things that I think that are legitimate on his side. He doesn't have the leverage. I don't think he's a free agent. And I also, so basically he's not a free agent and they could also franchise him after that. So in theory, they could hold on to him for 2 more years. Now, do you want to hold on to this disgruntled guy at least for that long? I think they can go longer than that, but you at least got the last year of the contract and you got the franchise, right? At least one time. So you would have to be there for at least 2 years, but I don't know if you want a disgruntled guy there. I don't think he has much of that leverage on his side, but he is a great player, and teams will always look for great players. There's a lot of teams that don't have a Brandon Aiyuk on their side at all. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense for New England, right? Because it's like they,
Who do
I
they
mean,
have?
let's exactly right. Who, who?
They drafted a quarterback. I mean, they don't. I wait. That was like a real question. I was like not even trolling them. That was a real like who plays wide receiver
Mhm.
for the New England Patriots? Is it Kendrick Bourne? Is that one of their
Yeah,
wide receivers?
that's it, right? So he can legit become the number one for them, right? So you got Brissett, you have the rookie right waiting just in the wings. So
You got to
you
give them
have
something to work with, right?
right. So I think it makes sense for the New England side because here you have the rookie quarterback. you can spend the money on your line. You can spend the money on the wide receivers. You have that window with the quarterback to like the 4 years, the fifth year option to build around that guy. Here you have your number one receiver. And God knows when was the last time they had a number one receiver in New England, right? Was
Right.
Randy Moss? Randy Moss was like your last guy you
Randy
remember.
Moss had a cup of coffee there. That was like 2008.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever just never been their strong suit. I mean, you've had a quarterback that's really masked all those deficiencies. Going back to our salary list here, he's looking so right now. I would say if I'm going on Europe per year average, I think he's at least in the. I think he's worth double. I heard he's gonna make about 14 million this year. I think he's worth double that on open market. Open market 20. Open market 25 to 28 easily. Open market.
And there you go.
What's that? Nico Collins range. Look at this. Devontae, Nico, DK Metcalf at the 24, Deebo Samuel at the 23, 23-8, Cooper Kupp 26-7.
That's where we thought he could be, right? That's where we were thinking
he could be around here. Right. And that is $10 million more than where he is currently.
Right.
So he's looking to kind of try to close that gap. But if the 49ers aren't incentivized to it, I mean, maybe the 49ers are like, listen, bro, we have other alphas here, man, and you're not necessarily our focus. You know, we this offense can run without you. And I think there's something to that if they get an Amari Cooper back.
Right. And that's the thing is like the 49ers aren't looking to, maximize that to get it back. So if you're New England is like, what can we throw at you that we can just get him here and we sign him long term, Again, I don't know where the Steelers at. I think they just where they're at cap wise and money.
I wish it would be amazing to have Pickens and Aiyuk.
Right.
That'd be amazing. You need two guys. In my opinion, today's NFL, you need two guys, man. We might do it.
You need two guys
just on that. You're gonna have to have two guys, man. Teams are realizing that. You see what Miami's doing. You see what Philly's doing.
Right. And so maybe even with Cleveland, you still have a lot of question marks. I don't know if I'm Aiyuk, maybe I gamble with New England because I mean it from what I'm reading.
Man, would you want to go there?
I mean, it's a long shot, right?
I feel like well, only reason I say that is because unless you have like familial ties to certain areas, there are just certain cities and states that recruit for you. Like if LA recruits for itself, like they have sports teams there, but LA is pretty much doing a lot of the recruiting when players decide they want to go out there and play there. If you're looking at some of these other places, like a Cleveland or like a New England, if the team isn't the draw. Because that's what I'm thinking gets you there. The team gets you there. Because you look and say, hey, well, I might be going to this city, but look at this team and we got a shot to win it all. That's a whole different situation, right? If you got a Tom Brady playing there, it's a whole different situation. Yeah, I'm going to come play with Tom for sure.
Right.
But absent of those things, what makes you want to go to any of these places?
I don't know. That's a great question because even with your Steelers, you still have that question mark with the quarterback. We still don't know. Like I still keep reading every day. It's like Justin Fields to get more reps, right? I still keep seeing that. Like, I
think it's going to be Russell Wilson to start and Justin Fields as an heir apparent to see if he can be, and then pivoting past that. I think to me, the Steelers have kind of kicked the quarterback can down the road unless something disaster happens. Maybe a couple years or so, because maybe you get a year or two out of Russell, depending on how good he does. Maybe you get a year out of Justin to see how good he does, and with the possibility of extending that on another 6, 7, 8 years or so. But I think that's all that you could. I think they're kind of taking it day by day because it's such an unknown situation. You just don't know. You don't know what you're going to see. And when you see how pitiful Trubisky and Pickett were doing last year, you got to think that almost anything is better, right? That's
right.
I mean,
oh yeah, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, if I'm Brandon, where am I looking at? Okay, because again, like you said, the Steelers, we have two quarterbacks. We don't know. You have one quarterback that was traded for. That, I mean, the 5th-year option I think was picked up. I don't recall. Then you have one that's picked up on a league minimum. So where's my quarterback future for that? With New England, yes, they have Brissett, but at least with Drake May, I know there's going to be a future with that. That's going to be a future quarterback.
Right.
Now, again, you're saying like we don't know where that lies, but then you have with Cleveland, what God knows what Deshaun Watson's going to be. I mean,
Is he healthy?
Great question. Fantastic. I mean, right there, you hit the nail on the head. Right? Is he healthy? Who knows? He might be. He may be.
The problem I've had with Deshaun Watson is how he's looked when he has been healthy. Maybe he just needs another year to get back acclimated to the game after being out of the game for a couple of years, and we'll see what this next year entails. I mean, he gets a pass for that first year, and then we'll see what this next year.
Reggie,
I mean, he's not gonna get one for this year because now you got you're back in game reps, right? Like you're back up. We can't say that you've been away from the game for 2 years. So you're gonna have to show up and perform.
Right.
Year, right.
And then you got outperformed by pretty much we all thought was a washed-up quarterback who won player of the year, comeback player of the year. So I mean, now you got to outperform that, almost.
I have to wait and close this show out with our guy. Let's go ahead and Snoop, put him up here. Snoop Dogg.
Oh, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop D-O-double-G. I wish if I could go back to the 90s, one thing I would tell them is, he's still popular, guys. If I go back to the early 90s, like 92, 93, I'm like, guys, you were not going to believe this, but the man is still popular, bro. Like he's still popular. He's out here. He's globetrotting. He's representing the United States on the world stage, doing a magnificent job at it. Right? Say he's probably winning he's actually winning, right? Look at this. You're winning. You're winning the Olympics right here. I don't know if he got any medals. I think he has like a little S pendant right there. Is that a little S pendant he has going on back there? But him and Martha styling and profiling. Yeah, what do you think about Snoop Dogg's Olympic performance? He didn't do any sport, but I've seen him at every one. It's kind of like he's been at every sport I've watched.
I mean, I text you. He's a national ambassador. I mean, I don't know. Did you catch the one where he was doing the commentary on the badminton? It was one of those things. It was not, again, it wasn't insightful. It wasn't like you're going to learn anything. Like, again, we're not going to learn anything from badminton. It just reminded me of like, oh, hit it back. It was one of those things like, this is why he's amazing, because it's just like, it was just you didn't learn anything from it, but you weren't expecting anything to learn from badminton. But it was just one of those like, oh, thank you, Snoop Dogg, for being here to just entertain me for these few moments. And again, that right there is going to be a meme for future ever. Like the Jordan crying
for future
meme,
ever.
Always,
absolutely, man.
Yeah, right. We're always going to see that somewhere in the future. So no, I mean, it's just been, I think, just face it, NBC has done a phenomenal job with just overall coverage, but just having him involved.
NBC jacket. It's like he's rocking NBC gear.
He's
right
rocking
there.
the NBC jacket. He's like,
I'm pressed over here, bro. I'm pressed.
He's been, and it's like, and the cool thing is, it's like he's not just. You can tell he's into it. That's the cool thing about it. It's like he's not just showing up to phone it in. Like you could tell he's really into what he's watching, and that's been the fun thing.
Well, shout out to Snoop Dogg, representing America on the world stage, and the fine job that he did at it. I don't know if anybody can do. I mean, he's been at every sport cheering him on. He's getting an amazing amount of coverage here.
Yeah,
running presidential. There's a presidential race going on right now in this country, and they're not getting the kind of coverage. Snoop is getting here. Snoop is getting all primetime coverage here. This is Just the Stats. Check us out: Stitcher, IR Radio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts, as well as YouTube, and other social media places. See you next time.